Lynn and my company's Tailor-Made Plans, and we're here at the Magdalene house on Author. It's a brand new house. We've designed it and we're building it to EarthCraft standards. My company name is Tailor-Made Plans. I believe I said that. This is Jeff Middlebrooks. His company's Innovate, and he's the third-party verifier on this project. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing here. But first, Jeff, why don't you tell us about your company?
Sure. The name of our company is E3 Innovate. We're doing the EarthCraft certification on this house. EarthCraft is a comprehensive green building program. It really takes a look at all the different facets of the building process, tries to do environmentally friendly practices. So we're, again, that third-party certifier. We're the one that comes out and makes sure that the house is built to a certain standard.
Okay. And we're in Nashville, Tennessee, so some of these techniques might not apply to you if you're in a different climate zone. So always do a research on what your climate zone is and the techniques you need to be following. Well, right now, the footings have been laid, they've laid the block, and they've also sprayed a foam in here inside the core of the blocks. And I will insert a picture into the blog to let you see what that looks like. They've already done that. We've seen evidence of it on the site and that kind of thing. And we're going to do a sealed crawl space here. And Jeff, you want to tell me a little bit about that?
I'd love to talk to you about sealed crawl space systems. We have a lot of experience with that. A sealed crawl space here in the southeast, our building climate, we traditionally build what's called a vented crawl space, and that's where we put vents into the foundation block. The problem with that building technique is it actually increases the amount of moisture inside the home or inside the crawl space. Now, if you know that moisture and wood don't mix, what happens when you have high temperature, a lot of moisture, you get mold. In the southeast, we have a lot of mold in this area, and a lot of it has to do with how we build our crawl spaces. We're moving towards what's called a sealed crawl space system, which we're doing that here. It starts with a very nice plastic vapor barrier to seal some of the moisture from coming in from the soil. And then we actually insulate the foundation block, like you said. This was used to pour in place foam product. There's a couple different methods to do that. But this is going to have an insulated foundation wall. We'll also have the ductwork located in the crawl space, so it'll keep the temperature at a constant temperature, so the ductwork isn't fighting adverse conditions, but also just helps control the amount of humidity and moisture inside of that home, inside of that crawl space.
So when you have temperature inside a crawl space, is that the same level temperature always? You don't get the moisture and humidity and all that, right?
You don't get as much humidity if you seal off the foundation vents.
Okay, and this is the product they have sprayed in the block walls here.
In the block, yeah. If you can see the texture, it really is just a foam. What's great about a foam product is it's not only an insulation, it's got a very high R value per inch. It also acts as an air sealer, air infiltration sealer, so it blocks a lot of air infiltration.
Okay. And we have no crawl space vents in this foundation, so make sure that doesn't happen. A lot of times you will see, sometimes people put them in and then try to insulate it. It doesn't work that way. And I will actually put a link on this video with some more information you can go check out. I also want to talk about a few other products here that's on top of the foundation. We have the plastic vapor barrier here. It's kind of like a plastic, helps with air sealing too, but it's also a termite barrier. And then if you see the blue foam piece right here, that also helps with air infiltration into the house. I have a pink piece of it here. It's pink or blue. You can get it at your local building store. It comes in 8-inch wide or 7.5 for the block, and it also comes in a 3.5-inch wide for stud walls. You can do it around the perimeter of your exterior house. And then the next thing up you see is a 2x8, which is a pressure-treated seal plate, again, termite barrier. And the metal pieces you're seeing are the strap downs to strap the framing part to the block. And then this piece of board right here is your rim board, which goes all the way around the house. And now they've already set the floor joist, and they're getting ready and they're installing the sub flooring. Jeff, do you have anything else to add to this?
Yeah, one other positive benefit to our piece of plastic here, our polyethylene here that you mentioned is a termite barrier, which is primarily the case, but it also acts as a capillary break too. And that's really important because it stops moisture from wicking up through the block and then getting into our floor system, into our rim band, and then into our floor system. What you will not be able to see, or you see this piece of plastic right here, we actually wrap the footers to create a capillary break in between the footer and the foundation block. That's kind of a very advanced building technique that the EarthCraft program strongly incentivizes. So within this wall system already we have 2 capillary breaks. number one goal here is to keep moisture from getting into our organic components, our wood components of the house.
Carefully break. That's very important. You can do some other research and research that word, that phrase, and they'll get you some more information. And I forgot to mention that, but that is an EarthCraft item.
Yes.
The other thing about whenever wood touches concrete or concrete block, it really needs to be pressure treated wood or have a barrier of separation. And otherwise, termites and water damage happens to that wood. We will also later on, as the crawl space becomes more finished and we move forward to getting it sealed up, we'll be videoing that for you too. Well, Jeff, thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Lynn. It's a pleasure.
Thanks.